Peace be with you. Dear friends, welcome to Living Flame Podcast website and Facebook group. Gospel reflections for Saturday in the 18th week in the ordinary time. Gospel according to Matthew chapter 17 verses 14 to 20. After the transfiguration, Jesus with Peter, James and John came down from the mountain. So just imagine the great experience on the mountain, the wonderful discourse they had. Peter said they could have three booths. There was the voice of the Father from above, Jesus touching the disciples and saying, "Do not be afraid." And as they come down, they have a great crowd waiting on them. And a man came to Jesus, knelt before him, and said, "Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is an epileptic and he suffers terribly. He often falls into fire and often into water. And I brought him to your disciples, but they could not cure him." Well, when these three disciples went up with Jesus, the other disciples probably were at that area among other people. And that's why this man had brought the sick guy to the apostles and they could not heal him. And why was that? Well, Jesus says, "You faithless and perverse generation, how much longer must I be with you?" Jesus' frustration may be towards the disciples who were not capable of healing this guy. Jesus had clearly given the mission of curing and laying their hands on the sick people, but then they were not able to do the work. Now, Jesus coming down the mountain, we can just imagine, full of spirit. Jesus rebuked the demon and it came out of him, and the boy was cured instantly. Then the disciples came to Jesus privately and said, "Why could we not cast it out?" Jesus said to them, "Because of your little faith. For truly I tell you, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you." Now, transfiguration event calls for an understanding of how we need to take Jesus, who has the power of God to heal. But then at the same time, Jesus delegates this power to his apostles, provided they have faith. If they don't have faith, they cannot do any kind of miracle. Dear friends, in our daily lives, what do we understand by that faith? Faith like the mustard seed, the smallest amount of faith that can move mountains. It is a combination of our belief in God, trust in the providence of God, and our inner strength, the combination of our will. When we combine our strength, our willingness with the power of faith we have and the will of God, many things seem possible to us. In an ordinary way, in the ordinary sense, in our ordinary thinking, many things might be totally impossible to us. But when we combine our strength with the strength of God, many things are possible. And that is what Jesus was saying to his apostles. If you have faith of a mustard seed, the size of a mustard seed, you will say this mountain, "Move from here to there," and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. In our daily lives, dear friends, whenever we want to do a task or a work, when we have difficult relationship or it is difficult for us to relate ourselves with a person, We cannot do that with our own strength and power. And that's why many people who suffer long years because they are not capable of reconciliation with the other people. They cannot forgive and forget. Why? They trust in themselves. They have no capacity to overcome that hurdle. But then when we have faith in God, everything seems easy and possible. That's why this particular episode of the healing of the person who was an epileptic, the disciples were not able to do that, but Jesus was capable of bringing that healing to that person. Means in our lives, we are capable of working miracles provided we have faith. And how faith grows? It grows through our daily prayer, our perseverance in meditation, contemplation, reading the Word of God, receiving the sacraments daily, and spending time having that presence of God within us. Whatever devotion we have, whether it is breviary, recitation of the rosary, sometimes people might criticize us saying that, oh, that's a popular devotion, why do you do that? But when we do it with that conviction and deep faith, miracles do happen in our daily lives. God bless you.